if they have that fear of God in them, they'll be able to call those people who are their supporters and be able to tell them. For instance, now we have Nigerian Supporters Club in football. Yeah. Now, most times the Nigerian NFF have called the attention of their leaders to tell those fomenting trouble, please, we don't want this situation of things. Remember when Ghana and Nigeria met the other time, and when Ghana won the match for the qualification of this World Cup, Nigerians were throwing stones. Yes, but FIFA decided to take action against Nigeria for one reason, because they expect that NFF should be able to caution those people from from throwing stones on the pitch. And this is what we also believe, that the politics,
peace or lack of it, does not begin and end with throwing stones, heckling politicians, and stoning them with pebbles. It also involves the comments, uncharitable comments and hate speech by politicians. How can that peace accord that was signed affect positively those kind of areas?
That's why we said this issue of hate speech, and that's why I like NBC. Yes, their code of ethics, bringing out to most media organizations and politicians to resist. For instance, 2-3 weeks ago, to be precise, the NBC, the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, came out to tell the politicians that you should be very careful of the language. 2, you should be careful, don't attack other political parties. What you are what you are supposed to do is to sell your manifesto to the electorate. What do you have? Good roads, good houses, food for stuff, grassroots development and whatever. These are all things most the government, INEC, NBC, they are laying emphasis on. Even we, the journalists, we are told that be mindful of what you say, to be mindful of what you write. And these are some of the things I think they have, the INEC and what do they call them? NBC have done to caution the political leaders and be able to tell them, be very careful.
And media organizations.
Media organizations. Otherwise, for instance, you had the slams on Daily Trust of recent. And Daily Trust said it was not deliberate, but because of the way and manner, that is why they slammed that 2 million naira or so against the Daily Trust.
Arise newspaper. Arise. And alluded it to against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They were also fined 2 million naira.
And this is what we are saying, that
they had to
this is what we are saying, that the political leaders should caution all those who call themselves, those belong to that party. Be very careful, because we don't want trouble. All Nigerians are expected is we want competent, those who are really good to take the job of the position of this sensitive position along the line, and most importantly, we want election that is free and fair, which Nigerians will open their eyes and said, yes, Mr. A actually won that election, and not by fomenting trouble.
Now, Beauty, I've studied, I was discussing with you backstage, if you remember, I told you that I've studied other democracies, particularly the democracies we copy. The American democracy, British democracy, even Indian democracy. I've never seen where they bring their presidential candidates in a closed door and sign peace accords because of their political culture. But here, we have a political culture that is
open
at variance. That is at variance with those, the democracies I talked about. Here, you find a governor, a serving governor, who reads out a law banning rallies and asking other political parties, or all political parties, including his own, of course, to give 2 weeks notice. I pay 5 million naira to get permission, to hold rallies. And you find other political, other governors whose members or supporters pull down billboards of other political parties. And then, campaign convoys are being stoned. Would you say it's a culture that we must sign? Why do we have to sign peace accord? because of all these things I've mentioned?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Mark. Sorry, Mr. Maxwell, before you answer, I think I would have one other question to add to it.
Okay.
You know, in the area of NBC, you know, you talked about NBC imposing fine on media houses, the press to be precise, whenever they fault in one law or the other.
Yes.
But my worry is that has been, and it's kind of easy for the NBC to impose such. And any media that is at fault tries as much as they can to actually pay such fine. But over the years, we have had a contrary issue when it comes to politics, in the politicians, INEC, and judiciary. So how do you think, I mean in the area of, okay, for instance, we've always had violent elections.
Yes.
Even pre-elections and the post-elections periods, they have always been violent. Yet, the INEC that seems to be
the umpire.
Exactly, the umpire, seem to have little or no power over these politicians.
Yes.
And then the ruling court, I mean the judiciary, still to be powerless as well.
Yes. Why
So
the INEC, to be precise, and the NBC have lay emphasis on this issue? Because they believe that even what you write can create some kind of pandemonium, crisis. It can aggravate the situation for most people. I'll give you an example. For instance, the SARS issue. You remember? The northern governors came and said what aggravated that thing was the issue reports on social media.
Yes.
I remember. You remember that?
I remember very well.
So this is why I think the INEC and even NBC are making it abundantly clear to the media, particularly this election period, that be very, very careful what you write. If the results are not announced by INEC, you have no right to carry it out. Get your facts and figures from INEC before you go to the press, which I think this is the way I look at it. Because the government believes that whatever is written in the papers can, give rise to crisis along the line. If you don't see anything in the papers, you just go. You have gone to the newspaper stands, where some people are quarreling, fighting. They have never been to Villa before. They will tell you that, but I told you this is what will come. This one will say, would you go there? This one will say, I went there. That will be crisis. So this is why I think the government are making it abundantly clear through the INEC, and the NBC to make it clear so that people will be very careful.
I think INEC's law is clear on this. INEC does not have power to reprimand any politician that says anything he wants to say.
Okay.
Because politicians have
but NBC have the power.
NBC has the power.
Yes.
The beauty mentioned INEC.
Yes.
I want to make this clear. That INEC is hamstrung at this level.
Yes.
Judiciary can. The judiciary cannot on its own do that except somebody sees an infraction and goes to court.
Exactly.
Before the judiciary can interfere. But NBC has the power, statutory power.
That is,
to say,
that is part of
what you are saying is inimical to the interest of peace.
Yes.
That means it's been one-sided, because I've not seen any.
No, NBC has done it.
They've been doing it.
They've been doing it. They are hammered. What do you call them? Daily Trust.
Yes. Arise TV.
So media houses.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm talking of.
No, they can't do it to politicians.
They can't do it to politicians.
Okay, who does it to politicians?
The politicians, that's why they're signing peace accord.
Exactly.
They should respect the peace accord.
If in case of any politician that faults,
you go to court.
You go to court.
That's my point now. That's the point I'm making.
Nobody is going to court.
Nobody is going to court. But in the real sense of it, must we go to court?
We don't have to go to court. That's why I talk about culture. That's why I talk about
because
culture.
You see,
political culture.
Yes, because we believe that court is the only way out at the end of the day.
Yes.
In the real sense of it, if election is properly planned, organized by INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, and then the electorate gone there to vote, and the result is done electrically or whatever the situation is, and everybody saw it and whatever, then why must you go to court? It's like sportsmanship. Everybody cannot win. That's just the truth.
Everybody can know. You are talking about the ideal.
Yeah.
The politicians need to know that it's like sportsmanship.
It's like sportsmanship. We have been telling
So that brings
them.
me to the question that where the courts are also hamstrung is that, for instance, if, let me use this as an analogy,
Okay.
politician A goes on a podium and refer to politician B as brainless, a man that doesn't have brain to be in the villa. That is hate speech.
Hate speech.
Now, NBC cannot charge anybody, we cannot charge that politician with that. They can only charge the TV station that takes that thing
exactly
and exacerbate it.
Yes.
Escalate it to exacerbate crisis.
And that is why INEC is telling most media organizations don't carry results that does not emanate from
us. Because it will create crisis.
It will create crisis.
So what is the place of the judiciary now? My point is, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
My point is actually that for a politician that fought this peace accord, what is the position of the judiciary to these politicians? Let's assume they are the people at the helm of affairs.
Yes. We have seen judiciary too doing their legitimate and civic responsibilities. We have seen they upheld certain results and says that this governor is the one that becomes the governor at the end of the day, and most Nigerians will attend strictly to it. And then most Nigerians also believe that judiciary is the last hope of the common man.
The common man.
And so anything that emanates from judiciary should be the results for a common man.
But has that been?
That's another question.
That's another question.
That's another question. It has not been.
The point he's making has come out clear now.
It has never been. It has never been. But we want a situation like that to come to be the last hope of the common man. Because let common man believe that that is his last hope for him or her. But that is another question.
Beauty, he says another question, the issue you raised. That brings me to the question of the subnational at the subnational level.
Okay.
This peace accord was signed amongst the
political leaders,
particularly presidential candidates.
Okay.
Governors are not signing peace accord. The question I want to ask is, let's take the case of Osun, where Adeleke emerged as the candidate of the APC. Now, something happened yesterday. It's quite laughable. 2 months to the end of the tenure of Oyetola,
the former governor,
he has appointed 30 permanent secretaries. And then Adeleke quickly reacted that I'm going to sack all of them. Why are we appointing permanent secretaries 30? 2 weeks, barely 2 months when you are about to hand over to me. Don't you think the absence of peace accord could lead to such things? Or do you think if a peace accord was signed at the subnational level, it could...
That could be right, but then he knows why he decided to appoint those. The numbers are outrageous. There are too many. There are too many. Cost of at this point in time when we're talking about reducing the cost of governors, why should we appoint a 30 SA? And I'm sure the SA, PA, TA,
the permanent secretaries,
there are too many. What are the jobs going to be doing? And even the Federal Executive Council, they don't have 30 special advisors and what have you. The state, where is the money coming from? The taxpayers' money you are going to use to pay all these categories of people, and where is the money coming from? This is another thing that most people will be wondering: where will these resources, where these materials come from? The money to pay them, are you going to be taking them on humanitarian gesture, or you not pay them their salaries? Definitely, you must pay them their salaries. I think it's uncalled for.
It's uncalled for.
Those numbers are too outrageous.
Talking about outrageous number of appointees, there's one that is even more mind-boggling. And it was done about 3 weeks ago by the governor of Rivers State. We know him.
The legal advisors.
Yes, the legal advisors. 100,000 of them. And it's a state that has only about 22 local governments. He has appointed about 100,000, and he charged them to be his eyes at the grassroots level. So, and now he also asked them to bring. Each of them should be paid, and they are paid handsomely.
This is the man who actually wants to take the place of Ifeanyi Okowa to take over from Ifeanyi Okowa to become the deputy to Atiku Abubakar. So these are some of the things.
But did you say so?
No, he didn't say so. The body language. The body language.
From his actions.
Okay, what has been the issue on the ground? Ifeanyi Okowa, right from the onset, he said he doesn't like the way and manner Ifeanyi Okowa came as the running mate for Atiku Abubakar, and the issue of Yorkshire Ayo, the chairman of PDP. Yes. These are some of the things. The body language, even though he has not said it emphatically, but the language body shows.
Yes, you know the interesting part of it is that it's like most likely Atiku is going to take a shot at only one term.
Yes.
So and then
if he wins,
he will take a shot at only one term, and the thing will go back to the south.
Yes.
And most likely his deputy will be the one that will take over as the next president if he wins.
Let's keep we should not get the river until we cross. In other words, let's not put problems first.
We're setting the river.
Let's hope so. But I believe that we should allow. It's too premature to start saying this and this. Let God choose whoever wants to be the leader of this great country of ours. We are praying for good leader to come and sanitize this great country of ours.
I still want your thoughts on this thing, the issue I raised earlier on, before Beauty asked a follow-up question.
Okay.
To contrast our political culture in terms of peace, or lack of it, with some of these countries that we copy, the advanced democracies like America, China, sorry, not China, China is a one-party state, US and India. They don't sign peace accord. Has it become a culture that we need to sign? It's because of our nature. Why do we need to sign peace accord?
We have analyzed it a while ago. Because we don't want, because they believe that if that peace is not signed, it will foment great problems.
Why can't there be peace?
Because of the culture, you have rightly said this. Because it's part of us that it's only you find that each time is conducted along the line, this one will. So to avoid all these terrible.
Exactly. I think if I have what to say about that, you said in the developed world, they don't bother about such things. Of course, they do not, and yet they have a peaceful rules and process of elections and all that. You know, everybody is not the same, even in the society where we live.
Yes.
You know, sometimes as a parent, you could even have children that have contrary character to that of yours. And they actually want to, maybe those that are married, that are now on their own, they want to brew their life the way they want it. Yeah. That could be the case of Nigeria. Okay, in choosing this path of peace accord writing at every point of electoral process, period, I don't think it's a bad idea. My concern actually still boils down to the judiciary system. I for one, have not been satisfied with the court judgment so far in Nigeria.
Yes.
Because the hope of the common man, like you said, and like they say too, that they are the hope of the common man. Is the common man in Nigeria actually finding them hopeful? Do they find them, do the common man find them at least like a shoulder they can lean on? Like a place where, okay, I've run as far as getting to the wall, where can I go back to? No hope anymore, because it now seems like the highest bidder, you know, like what we discussed yesterday, is now who have the money to foster whatever thing that brings the case to the court, that wins the case eventually. And it's sad.
It is sad.
Yeah, and my question is, right from the democratic system of election that we've been practicing, have the peace accords, has it been effective?
Exactly, how far so far?
It has not been effective.
Has it been effective?
It has not been effective. It has not been effective. But you see, the government believes that is the only. The government believes that that is the only way to try to correct, soft pedal the issue of crisis that would try to emanate from any quarter.
But there should be sanction to those who fought the agreement.
That's why she's talking about the judicial
that's what we are saying. But we still believe that, what other means do you think the government can introduce to be able to reduce this issue of a crisis after each election is conducted? You will see that most times election is conducted, people are grieved. Definitely some sections of the people are grieved, irrespective of whether the election is conducted rightly or otherwise. So these are some of the ways, but the government knows what to be done by implementing all these issues.
Fine. To add to that, Mr. Sorry for cutting you short.
Yes.
People will be aggrieved.
Yes.
But what I want to say is that judiciary's hand is tight.
Except
somebody takes the matter to court.
To court.
Judiciary cannot do anything. You can be aggrieved from here to heaven.
Yes.
Nothing will happen. Except if you, that is aggrieved, goes to court, or somebody goes to court on your behalf.
Yes.
Otherwise, judiciary will sit there and look at you.
And I also believe that the UN, the international community, can come in.
They can come in.
Yes, and be able to bring
sanctions.
Sanity.
Yes.
For instance, look at what happened in Kenya when the Uhuru Kenyatta or whatever had the crisis. The UN had to come in, and then some other international organizations had to come in and resolve this issue.
Okay.
But then we are not saying it is compulsory that UN or the international community can come in, but what we are saying in essence, we should be able to solve issues within our home ourselves without necessarily inviting all this body.
Okay.
As we went
down, let me ask you this personal direct question. Beauty, let me ask him. As a communications expert,
yes,
if our 18 political candidates are locked up in a room, and only you are asked to address them on peace accord, as we wind down, what will you be telling them?
Yes, I have to bring in peace. I have to bring in peace and tell them, well, peace is, you heard the quotation I quoted, international principles of professional ethics in the practice of journalism profession. Number one, people's right to true information. They know, in order not to foment trouble, let's agree with peace in this country. Because nobody will come and savage this country for us. It is you and I.
Yes.
And because you and I want to savage this country for everybody to live peacefully, without any hindrance, without any problem, we need to resolve. We need to come dialogue. We need to come together as a team, because just one single broom cannot sweep in the room. We need to come together and be able to solve this issue of our problem together, so that we can live comfortably and amicably.
Now, how would you assess individual, particularly the four frontline presidential candidates? How would you appraise their adherence to this peace accord that they signed?
Yeah, it's okay, but I just hope that they will abide with it and follow it to latter. And also try as much as possible, like we have rightly said earlier on, to talk and be able to call those their hoodlums, those who believe that it's an opportunity to create trouble, to be able to address them, that we are not for fight. Anyone that fights, they are on their own. So it's a forum to be able to call them to order and be able to address them and tell them that the election is free and fair, and be able to work towards making a peaceful resolution as far as the election issue is concerned.
Well, viewers, that's the size of our package today. Mr. Maxwell Eseigbi has done justice to this conversation. Peace accord, how far, so far. Maxwell Eseigbi is senior lecturer at the International Institute of Journalism embedded here in the nation's capital, Abuja. And he was also a one-time Chief Press Secretary to Lateef Jakonde, former governor of Lagos State, who is now late, and also Chief Press Secretary to Chief Tony Aneni of blessed memory, one-time Minister of Works and Housing. Maxwell Eseigbi, thank you for joining us on Daybreak Africa.
Many thanks for being here.
Yeah. Well, before we round up, I will leave you with this quote from Plato, a one-time great Greek philosopher who once said, if you do not indicate an interest in the affairs of your government, then you will be doomed under the rule of fools. Don't be doomed under the rule of fools. My name is Macaulay Honohashi, and from Beauty, my co-presenter.
And I am Beauty Akbarido. I actually want to thank you for viewing.
On behalf of everyone that has made this program possible, once again, my name is Macaulay Honohashi. I say, please do have a lovely day and stay safe. Bye-bye, and thank you.